And what if I told you that there's a power within you so strong it could transform your body, your mind, your relationships, and even your entire reality? An ancestral force that has been revered, encoded, and in many cases hidden by sages, alchemists, and ancient cultures. An energy that, if consciously channeled, awakens renewed vitality, activates your natural magnetism, and connects you to the deepest purpose of your existence. And the most surprising thing, this energy already lives inside you. It's sexual energy, but not in the way you've known it. Today you'll discover its true spiritual nature, how to activate it, and most importantly, how to transmute it into personal power, mental clarity, and conscious manifestation. Stay until the end, because I'll share a practical key that could mark a turning point in your life. Get ready for a journey into the very heart of your vital energy. Part 1. Sexual energy is not just sex. From birth, society teaches us a deeply limited view of sexuality. We're conditioned to see it as something purely physical, tied to momentary pleasure or biological reproduction, but hardly anyone talks about its true essence. We're trained to seek external satisfaction without being shown how to understand the inner source from which that need actually comes. And so most people grow up disconnected from one of the most powerful energies within the human being. Sexual energy is much more than an impulse. It is the most intense expression of your life force. It is the invisible current that flows through your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit. It is the same energy you use to create art, make decisions, connect with others, or dream big. Carl Jung understood this when he proposed that libido should not be seen solely as sexual desire, but as a deep psychic energy, the very root of human motivation. It's the force that pushes you to evolve, to transform, to find meaning in the midst of chaos. It's the fuel of the soul. This understanding is not new. Ancient cultures already knew it. In India, this energy was called Kundalini, a sacred serpent sleeping at the base of your spine, waiting to be awakened to travel through each of your energy centers and lead you into an expansion of consciousness. In Taoist tradition, they speak of sexual qi, an energy that, when cultivated, harmonizes body, mind, and spirit, helping you to reach sustained states of wholeness. The ancient Egyptians viewed this energy as a divine fire, a spiritual flame that could rise through the inner channels of the body, opening portals to other dimensions of existence. These cultures did not repress sexual energy. They revered it. They knew it held the potential for healing, creation, wisdom, and enlightenment. They understood it is not a force to fear or judge, but a sacred flame that, when lit with awareness, can transform your reality from its very foundations. This energy doesn't just create biological life, it also creates emotional, mental, and spiritual reality. When you learn to consciously channel it, it stops being just an impulse and becomes purpose. It transforms into creativity, passion, presence, and inner power. That's why many people who feel empty, unmotivated, or lost aren't lacking external opportunities. They're disconnected from their own vital energy. It's like trying to turn on a lamp that isn't plugged into the source. Recognizing this truth is the first step to reclaiming your inner sovereignty. Because when you stop seeing your sexual energy as something separate or shameful and begin integrating it as an essential part of your daily life, everything changes. Your gaze changes. The way you love, work, create, inhabit your body, and make decisions, and all of it shifts. Everything becomes infused with a deeper, more authentic, more vibrant presence. That is the magic of this energy. It is not only sexual, it is spiritual, creative, divine. And now I want to leave you with a question to reflect on and share in the comments. How were you taught to see your sexual energy? Do you feel connected to it? Or is there something inside you that still lies dormant, waiting to be awakened? Write it below. I want to read your thoughts and open this space for honest conversation, because reclaiming this energy is reclaiming the soul. And remember, what is not named cannot be transformed. Part 2. Dismantling the taboo. Why has this wisdom about sexual energy been hidden, repressed, or distorted for centuries? The answer lies in the power this energy holds. Those who master their sexual energy do not just control an impulse, they conquer the very core of their life force. Because this energy not only moves the body, it stimulates the mind, sharpens the emotions and elevates the spirit. It is the root of creative impulse, the fire that feeds the soul, the invisible engine behind our decisions, our connections and our perception of life. A person who knows and governs this force is not easily manipulated. They don't depend on external factors to feel whole, nor do they live in scarcity or emotional lack. Instead, they inhabit an inner state of fullness and sovereignty. They live from their creative center, from that vibrant core where all manifestation begins. And that, for systems built on submission, fear, and disconnection, is deeply threatening, because a free mind, a conscious body, and a heart on fire cannot be controlled. They don't follow dogmas, don't obey out of guilt, and don't settle for mere survival. That's why for centuries we've been taught to distrust our desire. Taboos were imposed, guilt was planted, pleasure was distorted with discourses of sin, punishment, and shame. The body was separated from the soul, as if they were enemies. We were made to believe that this energy was dirty, dangerous, something to be hidden or suppressed. And so, generation after generation, we inherited such a deep disconnection that we no longer even knew what we were repressing. But energy doesn't disappear, it only transforms. And when we don't use it consciously, it becomes anxiety, frustration, emptiness, chronic dissatisfaction. In many ancient spiritual traditions, great initiates didn't repress this energy. They worked with it. They didn't deny it, they sublimated it. They understood that sexual energy is not something to be eliminated, but something to be transformed. To sublimate means to elevate, to take that instinctive force and direct it toward higher purposes. It means turning the fire of desire into the light of consciousness. It's using that energy to awaken, to heal, to create. Because what many people don't know is that sexual energy is not only for physical pleasure, it can also nourish the mind to reach states of deep lucidity. It can strengthen the body with renewed vitality. It can open the heart for deep connection with the divine. It is a sacred fuel that can be used for both art and prayer, for both creating life and expanding consciousness. And here lies the key point. True mastery is not about denying what you feel, but learning to direct it. It's about choosing to respond instead of reacting. It's about observing your impulses without being enslaved by them. It's about recognizing that every desire carries a message, and within that force lies an opportunity for transformation. When you do this, you are practicing inner alchemy. You are transmuting the instinctual into wisdom. You are turning desire into creative power, and using that energy not to destroy yourself, but to build a life that reflects your truth. Breaking the taboo isn't just about defying social norms. It's much more than that. It's about breaking the invisible prison within you. It's about facing the energy that lives inside you and saying, I no longer fear you. I see you and I'm ready to integrate you. Because only when you integrate it, when you stop dividing yourself from within, can you begin to live in wholeness. That is the true revolution. Returning to your center, reclaiming your power, and living from there. And when you do that, you don't just reclaim your sexual energy, you reclaim your essence. And that, my friend, that is freedom. Part 3, how to recognize this energy in your life. Maybe you're wondering, how can I work with this energy if I don't feel it in my life? How do I recognize it if no one ever taught me how to identify it? The truth is, this energy is already within you, and it has likely manifested many times. You just didn't know it was her expressing herself. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of inspiration that seemed to come out of nowhere? Moments when ideas flowed like a river, effortlessly, as if you were connected to something greater that was thinking with you? That's no coincidence. That is your sexual energy in its most subtle form, manifesting as creative drive, mental clarity, and a spark of fire that ignites your soul. This energy is also present in those deep, inexplicable human encounters, like when you lock eyes with someone and, for a few seconds, the world disappears, or when a conversation uplifts you, transforms you, leaves you speechless but filled with meaning. That emotional intensity, that total openness, that maskless connection, that too is sexual energy. Because this energy isn't only activated in the body, it's also ignited in the soul when there is truth, presence, and vulnerability. Think about those moments when you felt a sudden call to create, write, paint, build, teach, embrace, heal. That urge that arises without logical reason, but pushes you to act from the most authentic part of yourself. That too is sexual energy in motion, not as carnal desire, but as a vital, creative engine, as an inner fire that seeks to manifest itself in the world through you. When you are truly connected to this energy, everything in you begins to shift from within. You no longer need to try to attract attention. Your energy becomes magnetic on its own. Your gaze carries depth. Your body moves more fluidly. Your voice carries a different presence, as if it spoke with the weight of a truth deeply lived. You begin to attract people, ideas, and opportunities that are aligned with your frequency, because you stop seeking from lack and begin to emanate from fullness. And the most beautiful part is that this is not about seduction, it's about resonance. What changes is not your outer appearance, but the vibration you project. Your aura expands, your presence becomes more alive. Your existence starts to feel more meaningful. Recognizing this energy is an act of awakening, of accepting that the fire within you is not there merely to be contained or controlled, but to be channeled with purpose, with awareness and with love. Because sexual energy is not something external that comes and goes with desire. It is the essence that has been with you from the beginning. It is the purest expression of your embodied soul. When you learn to observe yourself, to feel the moments when this energy activates, and to give it a safe and conscious space to be expressed, your life begins to take a new shape. A shape that is more aligned with you, freer, more powerful, more real. Part 4. How to start practicing sexual alchemy. You don't need complex rituals or advanced knowledge to begin working with this powerful energy that lives within you. The key lies in learning to bring conscious attention, to control your breath, and to direct your intention toward the inner flow of your vital energy. This is sexual alchemy, transforming and elevating that instinctual force so it becomes a source of inner power, creativity, and emotional balance. A simple but profound exercise to begin with is this. Sit in a comfortable place, with your back straight but relaxed, making sure you are fully present in the here and now, without distractions. Bring your attention to your lower abdomen, just below the navel, where much of this energy is concentrated. This point is the center from which you can begin to feel and channel that force, which is often latent or scattered. Breathe deeply, and as you inhale, visualize this energy gently rising along your spine, like a stream of light flowing from the base to the crown of your head, filling each vertebra, activating your awareness and your energetic body. As you exhale, imagine that same energy descending along the front of your body, passing through your chest, your abdomen, and returning to your belly, closing the circuit. Repeat this conscious breathing for 5 minutes, allowing your mind to settle, your body to be revitalized, and that subtle, powerful vibration to begin manifesting within you. Don't worry if you don't feel anything special at first. Consistency and intention are what will allow this energy to flow naturally and powerfully. This simple exercise, known as the microcosmic orbit, is a bridge to a deeper relationship with yourself, a beginning for awakening and consciously mastering your sexual energy. Little by little, this energetic flow can help you elevate your creativity, your passion, and your capacity to live with more fullness and personal power. It is the first step toward true inner alchemy, where the physical and the spiritual meet to transform your life. Part 5. When you transmute, you transform. Transmuting sexual energy is not a mystical act reserved for a select few. It's a deeply human practice that affects every layer of your being. When you begin to transmute, you're not just moving energy from one place to another. You're reconfiguring how you feel, think, and exist in the world. Real transmutation happens when you consciously choose what to do with the intensity of your desire. When you decide not to act impulsively, but to elevate that urge into something higher. In that moment when your inner fire stops consuming you and begins to illuminate you. Carl Jung described this process as individuation, a path to wholeness where unconscious parts of yourself begin to integrate. It's the journey of becoming who you always were, but hadn't yet discovered. When you transmute, you transform, because the energy you once used to seek externally now becomes a force for eternal evolution. You no longer need the world's validation. because you've connected to your own center of power. This doesn't mean repressing your desire or denying your nature. It means directing it towards something deeper. For example, the same energy that once escaped into distractions or superficial relationships can become art. Purpose, clear vision, tension becomes presence, impulse becomes vision, need becomes inner abundance, and that's when something in you shifts. Your body radiates a new vibration. Your voice carries a new frequency. Your decisions arise from a more aligned place. People notice it. They can't explain it, but they feel your magnetism. It's not something you're doing. It's something you're being. You're more focused, more calm, more connected to yourself. Not because of a technique, but because you've learned to direct your energy instead of letting it direct you. Sexual transmutation, in this sense, is a path of true empowerment, not an escape from the body, but a reintegration of body and soul. It's the daily alchemy of those who choose to live from their essence, not from their lack. And when you do that, transformation becomes inevitable. Part 6. Sexual energy can also be blocked. If this energy is so powerful, why don't we all feel it? Because it can also be blocked, and not by chance, but by the wounds we've carried since childhood: shame, guilt, emotional repression, sexual trauma, rigid religious beliefs. All of that settles in the body as a silent programming. Don't feel too much. Don't touch yourself. Desire is sin, the body is dirty. Be quiet and obey. And every time we deny an emotion, repress a sensation, or distrust our own pleasure, that energy begins to fade. It doesn't disappear, it stagnates, compresses, becomes muscle tension, anxiety we can't explain, exhaustion without reason, relationships with no real connection. And so many people walk through life disconnected from themselves, with numb bodies, overloaded minds, and silenced souls. They become functional but not free, productive but not present, and they don't realize that what's missing isn't love, money, or luck. What's missing is that inner flame they once felt and slowly forgot. When sexual energy is blocked, it's not just desire that fades, it's creativity, spontaneity, and the joy of being alive. Everything becomes mechanical, predictable, superficial, and the body starts to speak through symptoms: insomnia, irritability, lack of motivation, chronic dissatisfaction. But here comes a truth few dare to face. That energy is not lost. It's simply waiting to be acknowledged. Sometimes all it takes is a deep breath, placing your hands on your belly and feeling, stopping the escape from your body and starting to truly inhabit it. You don't need to become a tantric master to release this energy. You just need to be present, to listen to your sensations without judgment, to move your body with intention, to give yourself space to feel and without rushing, because freeing this energy is not something you do only in intimacy, but in the way you speak, in the way you walk, in how you choose each day what you do with your time. It's not just about activating one part of the body, but about remembering who you are when you're fully alive. When you allow that energy to flow, even if just a little, the world changes. Your body feels lighter, your mind clearer, your heart more open, and you understand that repression was never protection, it was disconnection, and that your power was never outside. It was always within, asleep, just waiting. Part 7. True power lies in your presence. When your sexual energy is aligned with your consciousness, you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. Your presence speaks for you effortlessly, without strategy. It's something that cannot be fabricated, because it doesn't come from ego. It comes from a soul deeply rooted in the body. You walk into a room and something about you is felt. It's not your appearance, your scent, or your clothing. It's the subtle coherence between what you feel, what you think, and what you do. It's living energy flowing through your spine, keeping you centered. It's the clarity in your eyes, the calm strength in your voice, the silent magnetism of someone who is not seeking it but radiating. Because when you're truly connected to yourself, you stop asking for permission to exist. You stop forcing connections. You stop chasing what doesn't resonate, because you're no longer empty. You are whole. From that state, your relationships change. You no longer seek someone to validate you, but to reflect you. You no longer give your energy out of fear of losing. You share it from inner abundance. And that transforms the kinds of bonds you attract. You become more intuitive, more selective, more honest, This kind of presence cannot be faked. It's not about appearing confident. It's about being confident, trusting yourself, your body, your desire, your power. And that can only be cultivated through steady practice of awareness, of attention, of intention. Every time you choose to breathe instead of react, to feel instead of flee, to channel instead of repress, you are strengthening that presence. You are saying, I will not let my impulses control me. I will turn this energy into clarity, into vision, into creative power. And that simple act is a profound act of alchemy. It is a way of telling life, I am awake, I am present, I am ready to create from my center. Because in the end, sexual alchemy is not a mystical technique that only a few can master. It is a daily choice of how you use your energy. It is not something external, but something internal, intimate, sacred. It is remembering that desire is not an enemy to defeat, but a teacher inviting you to evolve. And when you listen to it, when you integrate it, when you transform it, that energy leads you directly to your most conscious, most free, most powerful self. And that is where a new way of living begins. From your presence, from your truth, from your inner fire. Now that you understand the spiritual principle of sexual alchemy, you have a choice before you. To keep giving your vital energy to chaos, or to begin cultivating it like an inner master. Remember this, sexual energy is a gift, not a sin. It is a bridge between the human and the divine. And if you learn to cross it, you will not only attract what you desire, you will become the very source of that attraction. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt that your energy could influence the reality around you? Have you experienced moments when your creativity, intuition, or magnetism felt heightened for no clear reason? Write it in the comments. I activate my creative energy. If you're ready to begin this path, subscribe to Invincible Mindset. Turn on notifications and share this video with someone you feel needs to reconnect with their inner power. And remember, keep your mindset invincible.